City volunteers in Zimbabwe give out aid supplies to 700 impoverished families. Some visually impaired people go bowling with the help of Tzu Chi volunteers. Welcome to Diet Headlines. I'm Sue. Thank you for joining us. In Zimbabwe, during epidemic time, many families have been impacted. City volunteers have given out rice, masks, and other daily necessities to help 700 underprivileged families. The 80-year-old boy is trying to make a mask with discarded paper and thread. Suffering from poverty, a baby sleeps on the muddy ground outdoors. City volunteers immediately bring a Jinsi folding bed and place a blanket over it so that the baby can sleep more comfortably. Meanwhile, 10-year-old Moriyazi is taking care of his 13-year-old mentally challenged brother.
I bathe my elder brother, feed him, and make sure he is staying in a safe place.
Seeing the conditions of the impoverished families, the volunteers cannot hold back their tears. These families are the epitome of lives in Zimbabwe.
Sometimes I eat without knowing the food's taste. I eat cornmeal mash, but most of the time I go hungry.
Seeing her situation, my heart aches. If my mother or elder sister is facing the same situation, my heart will break.
I am very grateful to the volunteers. They understand my pain and give me help.
We only eat dinner. In the daytime, we tell our kids to endure hunger and stay strong.
The volunteers have brought impoverished residents timely assistance and much-needed love. Tzu Chi Liaison Office in Banten, Indonesia, continued to work with the government and military unit to conduct aid distribution during the pandemic time. In June, they sent out a total of more than 10,000 living supplies to villagers in remote areas.
After the governor of West Java waved his flag, the locomotive team set off immediately. This is not a racing scene, but an aid distribution from Tzu Chi Banten Liaison Office during the pandemic.
Terima kasih kepada warga Jawa Barat. Rezekinya menyisihkan.
Thank you for your contribution to our West Java province, and I will remember everyone's help. This love includes Tzu Chi's previous donation of 50,000 rapid screening kits and the expensive ventilators. We also have to thank 400 local companies for their assistance.
Lebih dari 400 perusahaan. Jadi tingkat kepercayaan masyarakat dunia usaha tinggi sekali kepada gugus tugas Jawa Barat.
Selama COVID ini, tentu kita kan.
During the pandemic, as a charity organization, the most important thing is to assist the government in epidemic prevention and to help the people who are unemployed because of the epidemic so that they can get the necessary help.
Juga harus sangat ekstra hati-hati bahwa ini harus tepat sasaran.
Sebagai penerima dari Yayasan Bunda Suci.
Thank you, Tzu Chi, for giving us the living supplies. We have had no income recently. Your assistance really helped us a lot. Thank you very much for your help.
Yang Bapak berikan kepada saya berterima kasih.
In remote villages, residents do not have it easy to make a living originally, and now there is a pandemic affecting their livelihoods. Fortunately, they have volunteers' assistance to help them overcome difficulties.
In Malaysia, a village in Johor Bahru has recently been flooded. In its aftermath, the Johor Bahru branch initiated a work for relief program for the first time, leading the villagers to clean up their homes. A village in Johor Bahru has been flooded. In its aftermath, Tzu Chi volunteers initiated a work for relief program, leading the villagers to clean up their flooded homes.
Usually we don't pay people to clean up their communities. However, Tzu Chi is giving out monetary compensation to volunteers who clean up the communities. This really attracts people. I believe they will work even harder.
Malaysian charity organization Isan Johor has helped Tzu Chi initiate a work for relief program. They give high praise to Tzu Chi's work for relief program.
Work for relief is a very good idea. Usually volunteers are willing to do the work when they like it, but they won't be very efficient. If there is monetary compensation, they will feel it is their responsibility and do the job well.
With adequate epidemic prevention measures, more than 100 affected residents start to clean the community. They do their best, hoping to restore the place to its former glory.
It was unfortunate that such a natural disaster took place. However, because of the cleanup, we've all become closer to our neighbors, including the people from the NGOs.
We live in the same village. Everyone works together and helps each other. I like this feeling.
With a large number of people, the work is done efficiently. Seeing how their homes have been restored to its former look, residents feel grateful.
On behalf of all the residents who live on the street, I want to thank Tzu Chi Foundation. With great love that transcends religious differences, you've led us to help each other. That's how we're able to complete the cleanup work so efficiently.
After the cleanup is completed, volunteers prepare lunch boxes for everyone. As the residents work hard to clean up their hometown, they felt the love and care of the volunteers. As the epidemic is easing in Malaysia, activities in the country are resuming. Butterworth District and City Academy volunteers began to make zhongzi prior to the holiday, so dialysis patients and care recipients can feel their love.
When the Malaysian government lifted the movement control order, Tzu Chi volunteers of the Butterworth branch began a zhongzi campaign to ease everyone back into volunteer work.
I'm having a good time today. It's nice to see so many Dharma family members here to make the snack. It's good to have something to do.
This zhongzi event is the first we held after the lifting of the movement control order in COVID-19. It's important because we want to help the master promote vegetarianism to help save the planet.
As the zhongzi is steamed ready, Tzu Chi volunteers delivered them to the staff of the 4 major missions in the country to express their thanks for safeguarding their post during the pandemic. The volunteers also gave some of the snack to patients at the dialysis center and care recipients. Nuru, who received the zhongzi, reciprocated by donating 100 Malaysian ringgits, even though he only has 307 ringgits on him. The 100 ringgits is enough to sustain his family of 7 for 4 days.
Saya pun susah, sama orang susah pun saya nak kasih hati saya macam itu.
Tapi nanti you sudah kasih, tak dapat makan macam mana?
Saya nak makan kurang, pun sikit-sikit kurang pun tak apa, boleh hidup cukup.
Macam mana kurang anak-anak boleh tak?
Boleh hidup cukup.
That is 1/3 of all the money he has. He is really rich in spirit, has deeply moved me. It's not something I can do. I am beyond moved.
These zhongzi are not only imbued with the blessings, but also the love and care of Tzu Chi volunteers.
Can the blind people go bowling? The Institute for the Blind of Taiwan is not only helping visually impaired people get a job. More recently, the Institute also arranged for them to go bowling with the help of Tzu Chi volunteers. This trip helps to bring some joy to their lives.
曾经也是很喜欢玩保龄球，因为玩过了好几轮，所以说之后眼睛越来越不好，就很久没有再去动这个保龄球。
With excitement in their hearts, 15 massage students from the Institute for the Blind of Taiwan's 63rd session are going bowling with Tzu Chi volunteers.
因为打保龄球有它的乐趣，那也是一种运动。
Bowling is a hobby and a sport. Through coaching and guidance, the student can gain self-confidence. This in turn helps to heal their mental health.
就心情上就会好像得到好像一种感觉到有疗愈的效果这样子。
Overcoming mental obstacles and stepping out of their comfort zone is not easy, especially for the vision impaired. However, with the assistance of the volunteers, it's like wings of hope have been added.
Many people think the vision impaired cannot do certain things, but this is something that the vision impaired has placed on themselves so that they can give new experiences a try and solve any obstacles they come up against. I think their lives will be very different.
Those with physical disability, not just the vision impaired, if you dare to step outside and open up your mind, your physical health will benefit from it.
If you have the heart, you can overcome obstacles thrown your way.
This field trip lets the vision impaired students experience life using their other senses and helps open up their mind to new experiences to welcome a better version of themselves.
An Indonesian grandma lives with her granddaughter in a dilapidated house for more than 10 years. City volunteers spent 3 months to repair it. The grandma and granddaughter burst into joyful tears when they saw their renovated home.
This rented flat of less than 33 square meters is where the grandma and her granddaughter temporarily stay. They packed their belongings and prepare to move back to their original home.
In the past, I lived in West Jakarta area. Later, I moved to Cikarang area and stayed in an exposed and dilapidated house for more than 10 years.
The dilapidated house, after more than 3 months of repair, becomes a brand new house.
We are very happy, especially my grandma. It's incredible for her because it's her dream. I want to thank Tzu Chi volunteers. If we haven't formed affinity with them, maybe we won't be so happy today.
4 years ago, the granddaughter received Tzu Chi scholarship and began the affinity with volunteers. After graduation, she suffered from uterine cysts and also financial plight. Renovating their house became a long cherished dream. They can't imagine that it really came true.
I'm really happy because my house has improved a lot. I also hope my granddaughter will cherish it and don't sell it.
No matter how hard their life is, they choose to face it bravely. We also hope they will have a better life.
Receiving this love, the grandma and granddaughter have a more comfortable home to stay side by side.
In the Philippines, authorities have eased the lockdown in Metro Manila in June. Tzu Chi Philippine chapter has also resumed its operation, but it continues to implement epidemic prevention measures. As the lockdown is gradually lifted, Tzu Chi Philippine chapter has resumed its operation. The staff is still mindful about epidemic prevention work.
Ngayon sa ginagawa ko, nag-i-spray ako sa mga handle nga pwede mahawakan ng mga staff natin.
I'm responsible for sterilization work at Jingsa Hall. I must be very mindful and careful so that no one will catch the virus.
Lahat ng mga paikot sa loob ng office, lalo na sa labas, para at least safe ang mga staff natin pagpasok nito.
Every corner is disinfected, including the parking lot, surrounding area, and the offices. In the restaurant, 5 people sit at a table instead of 10 people. Boarding is also provided so the staff can avoid infection risk associated with commuting.
Stay-in po kasi ako dito eh.
I am now staying here, and it is safer than living at home. When I was at home, I did not dare to go outside because I'm afraid of the risk of infection.
Hindi kami mapakali doon. Wala tayong mga naramdaman nga na.
Working for Tzu Chi, we're very mindful about people's health. This way, we can help more people stay away from the epidemic and spread love.
Wala tayong mga cases nga nakarating sa atin dito sa loob ng office.
Despite the epidemic, Tzu Chi Philippine chapter staff continue to give of themselves, helping the less fortunate people. Volunteer Hong Xunzhen is 85 years old and is right alongside her daughter involved in Tzu Chi. She has volunteered as an onstage performer and participated in other Tzu Chi activities. Around 2 weeks ago, she fainted and her legs lost feeling in them, but she still remained dedicated to doing Tzu Chi's work by promoting vegetarianism.
很多人都叫我叫慈济奶奶，我心里很高兴。人家一看啊，你这么大年纪了还在做慈济，我想我就是一个榜样。
She has difficulty in walking, but her resolve is strong. Last year at the China Charity Fair, Hong Xunzhen, who is over 80, was determined to attend despite her physical ailments.
The 3 days I was at the charity fair, over 200 people asked to take a picture with me. I asked them, why do you want my picture? They said, you are very old and still involved in Tzu Chi. I want to bring your picture home to my family to inspire them to join Tzu Chi.
In the later years of her life, Hong wholeheartedly dedicated her life to Tzu Chi due to her daughter's participation.
Since I joined Tzu Chi, probably for about 6 years, I've not spent Chinese New Year's with my mother. I decided to give up some responsibilities so I can take care of my mother. It turns out she was willing to visit Shenzhen, and when she came, she saw how much happiness Tzu Chi brought and said she's not going back. She wants to be in Tzu Chi.
With her daughter's encouragement, Hong volunteered to participate in a suture performance and also made fragrance sachets during the pandemic period. However, 2 weeks prior, she suddenly fainted and lost the use of both her legs and remains bedridden.
This month, I'm here in bed and I'm thinking I can't do anything. What can I do? I can call people, can't I? So I call my family members and encourage them to give vegetarianism a try.
Hong's deteriorating physical health does not deter her from giving, as she does rehabilitation exercises each day, so she may regain the strength to return to physical volunteer work. Granny Tzu Chi remains as determined as she was on the day she decided to join Tzu Chi.
The coronavirus epidemic continues to ground aircraft and suspend tour groups, leaving many customers away from the hotel industry. And now that the low tide is over, how will companies recover? Will there be some businesses and industries that simply won't survive anymore? Here's more.
Tainan's Thailandis Hotel closed for business at the end of June. The decision to stop operations is not a lack of funds because the owner has listed companies in the auto lamp industry. In fact, the decision was due to not only the short-term impact of the epidemic, but a change in long-term consumer behavior. With such a large company pulling out from the hotel industry, what should Taiwan's small and medium-sized hotels and restaurants do? And will there be a knock-on effect? Not only did hotels turn off their lights, but many businesses temporarily closed, shutting the doors of their building. This wave of hotel closures in Taiwan may cause a loss of more than $10 million. The crisis could be a turning point, as the Taipei city government promoted a policy where the hotel and lodging industry could be used as quarantine hotels, with 23 companies participating. After contacting the Tourism Bureau, more than 7,000 beds are available in 22 counties and cities in Taiwan.
I came back from the United States. Why did I want to stay in a special quarantine hotel? This is because I have some other people at home, and it would be inconvenient for all of us to live together. I spend my time by studying and doing some homework, and even going online.
The whole process at the quarantine hotels is very rigorous because we're actually operating under the guidance of the Taipei Municipal Government's Tourism Bureau and the Health Bureau, and there's also a hotel and hospital group. So there are 3 units giving guidance. So when it comes to check-in and reporting, there are strict procedures to be followed.
After the epidemic is over, as long as disinfection is complete, the hotel can operate normally. However, the industry admits that it will take at least 3 to 5 years to fully recover. Another industry that is suffering is public relations. The public relations and entertainment marketing industry is responsible for activity planning. Tzu Chi has been in the business for more than 15 years. At the beginning of the year, a number of companies decided to cancel their annual spring wine events, and in the first half of the year, he had almost zero business.
Actually, this wave is a bit like the one during the financial tsunami, but suddenly, all the cases completely disappeared.
These activities were temporarily postponed to the second half of the year. Tzu Chi estimated that the previous losses would mean he could only be able to make half of the money back. Although there were no activities to implement, he continued to make proposals and briefings and strengthen employee training. As the epidemic slowed down, Taiwan's number of days with no cases increased. The public sector and private companies gradually resumed previous activities. Starting in May, Tzu Chi's dream was finally able to make money.
What we are learning in this post-epidemic era is that many are slowly recovering and slowly starting some small events. I think that large events haven't resumed yet, but small events are starting to pop up in succession. This lets us see a glimpse of hope.
The public relations and marketing industry is looking forward to welcoming good news, but some do not see a glimmer of hope in the industry. This travel agency's office is empty because of the epidemic. The Tourism Bureau's ban on group travel was extended to the end of June. No new travelers signing up for overseas trips. This industry says they are at the forefront of the tsunami.
In fact, travel agencies in the first 2 months of the epidemic were impacted very severely. From frontline staff working with customers to our base, every department was hit very hard, and in March we saw this trend was a certainty.
Airports are mostly empty. Starting in April, Taoyuan International Airport has fewer than 1,000 people entering and leaving each day. Terminal 1 also saw a record of 0 arrivals. With foreign tourists banned from entering, even if domestic tourism continues, the market is quite difficult, as tour guides have to find another way to support themselves. Tourist hotels got another chance to recharge business by drawing upon their expertise and forming alliances with different businesses to revitalize the tourist market. For 120 hours of classes, one can earn a subsidy of about $5 per hour. This might not be enough to live on, but TQAA conservatively estimates that in the first half of the year, 500 travel agencies will be closed and 1,500 will be forced to take unpaid leave. Because of this, we can all say that business in 2020 has been severely disrupted. There will be a day when the epidemic is over, but this may be too late for markets and businesses to survive. At this stage, all walks of life are waiting for the coming of a new spring. Even if we are in transition, we hope to break out of the crisis soon as possible.
In Pingdong, a biotech company works together with a hair salon to provide free haircuts to graduating students of a remote elementary school. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.